Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Michał from Poland. I'm here with Chris, aka Rudy.
Rudy.
He's from the UK, and today we're going to be reacting to the story of Wojtek, the Polish military bear.
Okay, so we know a bit about Wojtek. Do you remember we saw his statue in Sopot?
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, we know that he fought with the Polish military during World War II. But yeah, I'd love to see how he got to that position. You know,
I know
where
quite
he
a
came
bit about
from.
the story, but I don't think you know
Yeah.
a whole lot. You know about it, but
Well, you guys recommended this in the Unconquered video, and you upvoted it quite a lot. So yeah, let's get into it.
let's go.
In 1942, a band of Polish soldiers recently released from prisons and work camps stumbled upon an unlikely mascot, a brown bear cub. Enamored with his antics and friendly personality, the troops took on the cub as one of their own. The bear grew and the war progressed. As the men ventured into combat, Wojtek the military bear served right by their sides, distinguishing himself enough to become an official part of the Polish military forces. Today on Weird History, we're going to find out about Wojtek, the bear who went to war. But before we get started, take a minute to subscribe to the Weird History channel
subscribe
and let
to
us
us,
know
guys.
which crazy historic animals you would like to hear
Shout
about.
out to the
Now
channel.
let's
shout out
crawl
this
out
guy.
of hibernation and head back to World War II.
How does a bear join the war?
On September 1st of 1939, Poland was invaded by German military forces from the north and from the west. On September 17th, Poland was invaded by Soviet forces from the east. As a result of the invasions, more than 400,000 Polish prisoners were sent to work camps in Siberia. This double whammy on Poland was made possible by the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact, a pact which fell apart when Hitler directed German forces to invade the Soviet Union in 1941. Not one to take a double cross very well, Stalin ordered Soviet troops to release those same Polish soldiers taken prisoner a few years earlier to join the fight against Germany. As these Polish troops made their way out of Siberia and into Iran,
Let's invade this country, take them prisoner, pull them, make them do in the work camp, and now, oh no, Germany's invading us. Now let's make them fight for us. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's such a weird mentality to have.
they met a young shepherd. The shepherd carried with him a sack, and in that sack he kept a Syrian brown bear cub. Makes carting around your Shih Tzu in a purse seem kind of lame, doesn't it? The bear was an orphan. His mother had been killed by hunters. The playful spirit of the cub won the troops over, and they made a trade with the shepherd. The newly adopted bear left his old life to go on an adventure.
Is this a real photo, do you reckon, of that bear? It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, I mean, surely. It makes weirdly, the guy looks really small, or I don't know if it's the bear's really big or the guy looks really small.
He does look quite small.
Yeah.
Adventure with Polish troopers in World War II. The fighting men gave their new friend the name Wojtek, which means joyful soldier. A brown bear in the ranks of soldiers tends to stick out. A Syrian brown bear is a rather small bear, at least as far as bears go. As an adult, they can measure up to 4.5 feet long from nose to tail and weigh up to 550 pounds. Their fur is light brown, closer to the color of straw. The hair between their shoulder blades is often a different shade from the rest of their body, sometimes appearing as a dark stripe. And it is the only bear species known to have white claws. Very stylish, but boy do they show dirt. The bulk of the responsibilities to care for the brown bear cub fell on two men, essentially his adoptive parents, Dmytro Shaluga and Henryk Zakharowicz. Henryk, in particular, formed a close bond with the bear. In most of the films,
imagine they're just like, yeah, we got an assignment for you boys. Go train that bear.
That would be crazy.
That would be funny.
pictures that exist of Wojtek, Henryk can always be seen nearby. Apparently, Wojtek had a helicopter parent. In the wild, a Syrian brown bear eats fruits, berries, seeds, plants, grasses, nuts, grubs, and small mammals. If particularly peckish, he will eat cultivated grains and livestock. The military was ill-equipped to care for a bear cub, so the troops made do with what they had. Wojtek was initially fed condensed milk from a bottle.
Is this really a real photo?
I hope it is.
Well, this is so mad. Like it's just so mad.
As he grew, his tastes expanded to include, well, basically anything that was available. Not a real foodie. The larger Wojtek got, the more bold he became to roam around the camp's kitchen, scrounging up a snack.
I don't know if they'll say anything about it, but like, I wonder if he caused any trouble as well. Like,
Nah, sure.
where the bits where they were like, okay, we're messing about with a bear, like, or was the bear just full on like?
I don't know, but maybe at the same time they're in war. They're risking their lives every day. Maybe at the same time they were just like they just don't really care.
Yeah,
they were just like, oh,
we're already fighting. I mean,
yeah, we
what's
could
a
die
bear,
any
like,
day. Like, you know.
At least this bear's helping at the moment.
Yeah, true.
In the rare moments when his military family wasn't doing military things like packing, moving, working, or fighting, Wojtek was always up for mixing it up with his human friends. Whether Wojtek was entertaining the troops or the troops were entertaining Wojtek is hard to say. In any event, he threw back beers like one of the boys. But big talk over beers was not Wojtek's style. He was a bear of action. The larger he grew, the more he enjoyed wrestling. The brown bear loved to roughhouse with men, though it was a rare soldier who was brave enough to earnestly tussle with Wojtek. No troops ever got seriously injured, but it was common for a wrestling match to end with someone's body getting scratched or someone's clothes getting shredded, and that someone was never Wojtek.
Would be surprised if it didn't. Do you know what I mean?
That'd be some big guy to take out his
He
bear.
was about to say, and that was never Wojtek.
Body getting scratched or someone's clothes getting shredded, and that someone was never Wojtek. Perhaps that's why most of the men prefer to watch from the sidelines. As a side note, a friend who urges you to wrestle with a bear may not be your friend.
Fair play.
Wojtek's behavior was influenced by his peer group, who happened to be war-hardened men with advanced skills in carousing. It's a tough environment for an impressionable young bear. Wojtek adopted their
It doesn't
habits
feel
and-
like a real story. It doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
It's just so all these pictures. That does not feel like a real story.
Wait, is this a real picture? Why have they got a sticker of him carrying the stuff there?
Because I think they did do that. Unless these are
I
edited
thought that was after like the whole thing. Well, they actually
maybe
printed
during
this out.
for morale and stuff like that. Because
Maybe.
morale is a big thing on
It is,
when
it
you're
is.
fighting. So maybe having all of this stuff around makes the men happier.
fit right in. He had his own mug that he used to drink beer and wine
That's
from.
definitely not edited photo. Definitely real photo.
Colorized.
And when it was empty, Wojtek would look mournfully at the cup until it was refilled. He also begged for cigarettes, though he insisted someone lit them before he would accept. Typically, after one puff, Wojtek would swallow it whole. Come to where the flavor is. When the troops arrived in Palestine, they were organized into the 22nd Transport Company, Artillery Division, Polish 2nd Corps. The men, however, would not abandon Wojtek, who was immediately adopted as the company mascot. But it wasn't just a symbolic gesture. Wojtek was part of the team. One evening, while the camp was asleep, a thief crept into the compound looking for something to steal. Unfortunately for him, he awoke Wojtek, who rose to investigate. With a massive brown bear lumbering towards him, the frightened thief, understandably, forgot he was a thief. He made such a clatter that he woke the troops, and he was quickly apprehended. As a reward for his vigilance, Wojtek was given a bottle of beer. Hey, barkeep, how about a bottle of suds for my furry friend over there? When he was young, Wojtek traveled with the company from site to site in whatever cab of whatever truck had room. But as Wojtek grew, he tipped the scale at 500 pounds.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, if I was in the war and I had a bear with me, I would definitely have a bigger morale. Like, a strong
Yeah,
morale.
100%.
And I would feel good as well. I'd be like, bro, I got a bear with me. If anyone like tries to sneak up on me,
Yeah, true.
even though
true.
he could just get shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe during like swords times or something, it'd be different. But this is World
I mean,
War
it was
II,
still
like.
boosted though.
Yeah, of course. This is. I feel like he's more for like the camp, but like when you're
Yeah.
chilling, like.
And it was harder to find any vehicle that had room for him to ride shotgun. So he was upgraded to one of the company's recovery trucks. A recovery truck is like a tow truck, but military-sized and used to move tanks. For Wojtek, it was a traveling home, like an RV built for a bear. He spent his trips lounging on the recovery truck's bed and alleviating his boredom by climbing the crane to get a view of the surroundings.
The fact that he was just constantly like with them on like doing these things, and he didn't just like wander off and just never come back. Like he actually stayed doing all
if you're
these things.
brought up from young, I feel like I've seen loads of stuff like this where people, you know, in other countries they'll have like a hippo in their house or something, or a cow in their house that they've just had from young that just stays
in
with
like in the Arab countries where they have like the tigers and stuff like
them.
that.
Yeah.
Although that sometimes goes wrong.
Wojtek wasn't the only animal who accompanied soldiers in the Second World War, although he likely was the only bear on the battlefield. Some animals, like anti-tank dogs, served grim but useful purposes, while others were brought to battle as a mascot. Whenever he encountered other animals, Wojtek was always friendly. The soldiers of the 22nd Transport Company loved to talk about the encounters between Wojtek and Kasia the monkey and Kirkuk the dog, two of the war's most famous animal combatants. Consider them the A-list celebrity animals of the day.
Didn't know that.
Wojtek never suffered a bullet or shrapnel wound, but he did encounter a life-threatening injury. Wojtek was once stung on the nose by a scorpion. Such an injury is often lethal. In fact, his friend Kirkuk the dog succumbed to a scorpion sting. Wojtek's friend Henrik was beside himself. He refused to leave the bear's side, doing all in his power to help nurse Wojtek back to health. For the first day and a half, the situation was critical, and it looked as if Wojtek might not make it. The soldiers feared the worst. But Wojtek fought back, and against all odds, overcame the scorpion's venom. Within days, he was back to his carousing ways.
Nice.
Nice player. Private Wojtek.
As the 22nd Transport Company received their assignment and was sent to the Italian battlefront in 1943, Wojtek had to be left behind in Palestine due to regulations that prohibited animals in combat. An active war front is typically not an ideal place for a bear, but Wojtek was not a typical bear. To get around the regulation, Wojtek was officially enlisted in the Polish army. He was even given his own paycheck, rank, and serial number.
That's jokes.
This helped ensure his participation was recorded, and the world knew under which flag Wojtek served. Though there was confusion and likely a bit of aggravation about transporting a bear to the Italian battlefront, the Polish troops eventually got their way.
Such a side quest. They're
Yeah.
like, bro, you gotta go fight in Italy, do you know what I mean? And they're like, not without the bear.
No, we're not going without the bear. And
And then they're doing all of this just to get him over.
How do we get around this? Let's just get him a passport and enlist him in the
I
private.
wonder how long that took. Like, the war's almost over and then they're still trying to get
They're like, bro, we need you on the front line now. No, not about the bear. Not about the bear. We're not going without the bear.
In Italy, there were a series of fortifications known as the Winter Line. In 1944, the Germans held the western portion of that line, and the Allies determined that breaking through that line near a rocky hill known as Monte Cassino would give them access to the Italian capital of Rome. Atop the hill was an abbey that had been converted into a fearsome stronghold. The abbey ultimately withstood 3 assaults before the Allies drove its inhabitants backwards into Rome. During one of these assaults, Wojtek's pal Henrik, serving as an artillery spotter, pulled forward into battle and had to leave his bear friend behind. Left among the men who armed and manned the guns, Wojtek refused to sit idly by. Mimicking the behavior of the soldiers around him, Wojtek began to lift massive crates of ammunition and carry them towards the cannons, disregarding the gunfire and making himself useful throughout the assault.
That's pretty mad. That's
By the
insane.
time Monte Cassino was in the hands of the Allies, more than 70,000 men on both sides had lost their lives. When the chaos of battle settled, the troops were able to rest, and word of Wojtek's exploits spread. His fearless actions and loyalty in battle made him a hero among the 22nd Transport Company. In honor of Wojtek's deeds, the official seal of the 22nd Transport Company was changed to feature Wojtek marching towards cannon fire, a shell in each hand. The logo was then featured prominently on vehicles, uniforms, and the like.
That's cool.
At least
After
he's,
the war, the 22nd
immortalized.
Transport Company moved to rural Scotland, where they were stationed at an airfield near the village of Hutton. The soldiers Wojtek had spent the previous 3 years following into battle were restationed or sent home. One by one, they came to say goodbye to their furry friend. Wojtek's battle adventures were ending, but his time in the spotlight was just beginning. Word spread that there was a Syrian brown bear nearby, and Wojtek became a local celebrity among the Scottish people. He was profiled in stories, visited by locals, and inducted into local organizations such as the Polish-Scottish Association. In 1947, Wojtek left the military. Rising from his initial rank as private,
So he left the military and he was like, nah, I'm done. I'm leaving. It's retirement time.
Retirement time, that's what I was thinking.
was discharged as a corporal. He retired to the Edinburgh Zoo. There he enjoyed a good life as beloved celebrity, doing an occasional interview and appearing on a local children's show from time to time. As the
Occasional
years
interview.
wore on, Wojtek was...
What do you mean
If he was
occasional
a-
interview?
If he was available, bro, you have to check his schedule, innit? His agent said that he was.
What's he saying in the interview, bro? He's just thumbs up, innit?
never forgotten by his army pals
How's
and
the
was
zoo?
visited by Polish soldiers he had served with. As 82-year-old Polish veteran Augustin Karolewski described his reunion with Wojtek As soon as I mentioned his name, he would sit on his backside and shake his head, wanting a cigarette. Still one of the boys. In the wild, Syrian brown bears live between 20 and 25 years. Wojtek, for all his adventures, lived to a ripe age of 21 and passed away in 1963. So what do you think? Would you want to have a bear in your unit? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from...
Yeah, I would. Why not?
Why not?
If he's a good lad,
Yeah.
why not?
He's not attacking me at night whilst I'm asleep.
You know what? It was good to get the full story of it, bro. He went around so many different places, you know, and imagine...
My guy had a more entertaining life than me.
Yeah. My guy was
Bro,
out and about.
he retired and everything. No, that was a wholesome story and a very sad story inside of a sad story.
Yeah, I feel like it brought people joy in like a time of such
sadness.
Yeah. But that's cool, man. That was cool. It was cool seeing the story. I mean, let us know what you guys think of the story as well. Let us know if some of those pictures were real or fake or whatever. Let us know what you know.
It's got to be one of the best war stories.
Yeah, it's got to. Yeah, it has to be a bear of all animals, you know. But yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Let us know if there's any other history videos that you want us to react to as well, or just any other Polish related stuff in general. And as always, guys, zostaw lajka, zasubskrybuj, proszę, dziękuję, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.